Obligatory podcast intro.
Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt with my co-host Adam. And this show is where we take all 62 letters of the alphabet, we put them in a glass, we each draw a letter, and then pick a comic that begins with that letter. I don't know his. I do this time, though.
Yeah.
And he normally doesn't know mine. Spoilers ahead for these two comics. Real quick, if you feel like it, want to show us some love, support anything, you can visit us at Instagram at FlippingPages24 or on Facebook at Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. Come say hi. That would be very cool.
Yep.
So we got G and D.
Yeah, I got G. It's my turn first this time.
So all I saw was the name. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know anything about it. I just saw the name.
So just to fill y'all in, Matt was using my computer to do some stuff unrelated, and he saw which comic I did. He didn't look through it.
Nope.
He just saw the name.
I just saw the
so
name.
It's called Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
I usually wait till the title page or never
You
to
build it up.
Yeah, to never tell the name.
Stop this is going to be great. Just hold on.
The last one we did.
You
that,
did
yeah.
one where you waited a while.
I
and you were like,
did.
no, I'm just chill. Wait, listen.
Yeah. So this one I got G. It's called Goblin. It's from Dark Horse Books.
Oh,
Because Dark Horse is usually comic.
I've done a Dark Horse
comic.
Yep.
So this came out in 2021, at least the trade paperback.
I don't
did.
remember which one I did, but I did a Dark Horse Books.
Oh, they have.
A bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one.
So
I'll have to look that up.
I know the trade paperback came out in 2021. I have no clue when the actual first issues came out.
Oh, okay.
This trade paperback came out in 2021.
All right.
This is the whole story. Didn't do a bunch of research. I would not be surprised if they did an extra or spin-off of Goblin, but this main story finishes.
Okay.
It's the whole story.
Any chance at all this is a sequel to Troll 2?
No, man, if there was more humans in it, yeah, I would try to connect it somehow. But there's literally like...
The town of Nilbog.
Yeah. Oh, my God. There's literally like 3 humans in the entire
Okay, all
comic.
right, I'll stop interrupting.
So, like, oh, my God. That's a good reference, though. I genuinely like that. So, it came... Like I said, the trade paperback came out in 2021. The writer/creator is Eric Grissom. I'm going to spell it, his last name, Grissom, Eric Grissom. He's the creator and the writer. The art throughout, basically, then I'm pretty positive the whole thing is Will Perkins, and it's all done on a computer. So it's all digital art throughout the thing.
It's got that shine to it, right? Like that, just
So
that gloss look.
I was pretty sure when I read through it the first time, I was like, to me, because I have friends that do digital art, Harrington, BT Dubs, and it was pretty obvious to me quickly that it was at least partially done digital.
Yeah.
And then when I paid attention, it was like, yeah, it's all digital. So
do you remember Niobe?
Yeah.
Do you remember
it was 100% digital?
Is that what that looks like?
Yeah, it's the same
Okay.
deal. Everything's smoothed out the same way. There's
Yes.
a bunch of cylinders everywhere. Like, if you've seen it before, it's obvious.
Yeah. It's
But
hard
if
to
you
explain.
haven't, yeah. So,
Also, we're not critics. So.
oh God, we are dumbasses. We are not critics. So the digital art technician is cited in the.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I was 100%.
Oh,
so
for
the
sure.
digital art technician is Samantha Hummer. That's not a joke. That's her name. And she's the digital art technician.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So stupid.
It's dumb. But she kills it, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Because everything looks like it was worked on the same amount of time. There's not a single panel where
That's
I'm
a
like,
good
they
compliment.
rushed this.
Right.
Obviously, they didn't even like care about this part. They rushed it. No, there's not one part in this that I don't feel like they put 100% effort into.
Nice.
So it starts out in the Whispering Woods. Later in this trade paperback, it gives you a map.
Ooh,
and when it gets to that part, I'm going to show you. We're
Yes.
going to pause if we have to. I want to show you the map because it shows basically everywhere
Nice.
our main character needs to go.
I like a map.
So our main character is a goblin. He's not an orc.
Goblin.
His name is Richt. Rikt.
Richt.
They all have names similar to that.
They're
His-
onomatopoeias.
yeah, his almost. His mom's name is Othea, and his father's name is Roll. So they have like
Roll.
goblin names.
Those are very goblin.
Yeah. So the whole entire comic, the entire trade paperback has its feel, has its look. So everything looks like it should be in the same story, which a lot of times if you're doing multiple comics with multiple artists, they won't all gel together.
Right.
So the one good thing about it being digital and done by one artist is it all gels together. All the issues. I'm not sure how many issues because I have a trade paperback. It doesn't really tell you. If I went by chapters, then I think there's 12 chapters or something.
Okay.
But this entire story, I'm basically going to tell you everything that happens. It's a lot of comics, but it's easy to explain. So Rick is out in the forest with his father. His father's name is Roll. They're hunting. So it's the most standard like movie that you could imagine. Rick is trying to learn how to hunt. His father's trying to teach him how to hunt.
Right.
Rick shoots the arrow, misses the deer, and
Dumbass.
says, this bow is fucked. I can't hit with this bow. And his dad instantly Roll. He's like, no, it's the one who pulls the bow.
Yeah.
And so they're out hunting. His dad ends up shooting a deer. And it's like his.
He's like, I used your bow.
Almost.
You see that?
So yeah, that's like part of it. It's his birthday to become a man. So this is like his time to kill and bring home meat. He missed. His dad shot it, and his dad sent him over to put the deer out of its misery. He says you got to say your prayer, and you have to make sure this deer passes dignifiedly. You know what I mean?
Dignifiedly?
Yeah, it's my new made up word. Fuck you, bro.
All right, well, let's use it again
Dignifiedly.
later. Dignifiedly.
Yeah. He sells a prayer to the goddess of the forest. Thank you for giving us this meat and this sustenance.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for taking one of your children. And that's Rick's. Rick says that, and then actually puts the deer out of its misery. So as they're packing up the deer and they're about to leave, his father Roll sees a human footprint in the mud. He doesn't say anything to Rick about it, but he says, hey, we need to go home. There's a storm coming. So that's kind of like the metaphor for humans and whatnot coming.
No.
So it's super complicated, let me tell you. So they go back home, and Rick's mother is named Othea. They go back to their house. It's like a cool teepee. It's basically a teepee.
Okay.
It's a nice house with multiple rooms. So it's not all ghetto and like shitty. Like he's there with his family. They're around the cauldron. They're cooking up the deer meat in the cauldron. And him and his dad start talking about his hunt and that he didn't kill anybody or kill anything, and that he knows about the humans. So his dad didn't say anything about the humans, but he saw the footprint. Rick saw the footprint and would put two and two together and understands that humans are getting closer to them. So Othea says, we're far enough away from the villages. The humans will never come out here. This is a swamp. Like, there's nothing good out here. There's no money. There's no gold. There's no point for them to come out here. And so Othea and Rule, Rick's parents, start kind of arguing about the humans, whether they're safe or not. And Rick says, can I go to my room? And his father's like, yeah, go cry. Fine. Go. His dad's like,
Happy
tough.
birthday. You're not a man yet.
Yes. Because he saw him not kill the...
Yeah.
So Rick goes to sleep, and he's like, after he killed that deer earlier, his father gave them their family sword. He says it's been in the family for 350 years. Damn. It's been in the forest for 350 years. And it's made of wood.
Oh, what?
So it's made from wood from the first tree, which is important.
So
I'm going to bring it up.
Special wood.
It's not a toy sword for children. It is from the first tree, and that becomes extremely important in just a minute. So Rick went to sleep to bitch and complain about his parents, whatever. He wakes up, and he sees the roof of the house is on fire, and he starts screaming for his parents, and he starts screaming their names. He's looking for them. He runs out of the house. Neither of them is there. And then when the rain hits him, he realizes that this is real, not a dream. He knows for sure it's real and not a dream.
Yeah.
And he hears his father saying, run, run. His father says, run, run, run. He goes, I will not leave you, Father. I'm a man, whatever. So he runs to where his father's voice is, and his father is squaring off with a human. This human looks basically like a Viking, is the best way to say it. Okay. And he's got a scorpion tattoo over his face. So like his entire face is almost like a mask, but the mask is a scorpion tattoo.
Okay.
So that's how he's known for most.
Pretty rad.
Yeah, that's how he's known for most of it. He's called the Scorpion Tattoo or the Great King, or he's the Scorpion.
They call him the Scorpion Tattoo.
Yeah, something
Why
like
don't
that.
they just call him the Scorpion?
Oh, bro, these people are like way separated. They don't even barely share the same language.
Okay.
Like it
Did
later.
he have armor or fur, or was he wearing?
He literally looks like a stereotypical Viking. So he's got a lot of fur,
okay,
but
okay.
also some armor. He
Okay.
doesn't wear. He's not wearing a helmet. He's wearing a necklace with a bunch of jewels on it. So like a movie Viking,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
real Vikings were covered in armor, and they never had horn helmets
Yeah.
ever. That wasn't their deal. So he looks like a movie Viking. So him and Richt have like a duel, like a sword fight. Richt is trying to save his father. His mother's already dead, and his father's about to die. So he runs up on the scorpion human. He's like, "We're gonna fight. I'm gonna kill you. Fuck you, dude." And the scorpion king swings his giant, like 2-handed, 7-foot long sword against Rick's wooden sword.
Yeah.
And there's a bright green explosion, and they both get blown back. So it is shown immediately that his wooden sword has some
Is
power.
that the family sword he
That's
has?
his family sword that's been in his
So
family for
Rule
300.
has his own sword? Rule wasn't using
Rule
the...
had the sword and gave it to Rick.
Oh, okay.
After he killed the...
That's when he gave it
yeah,
to him? Okay,
because
got it.
Rick was supposed to kill the deer. He didn't. So his father, Rule, killed it. And then after that, Rick did actually put the deer out of,
Yeah, he
out of
technically
misery.
did kill it.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
So he gave him the sword then. And it explained that it had been in the family for hundreds of
I
years.
remember that.
So, as far as we know, it's just a wooden fucking toy sword, and these are goblins that don't do shit, don't deal with people, they don't fight, they don't do anything. They're patient and cunning, which becomes like a huge issue. Like his father tells him, "We don't fight outright. We're patient. We're cunning. We have intelligence. We're not big. We're not going to be able to fight a human sword to sword. Like you have to be smart about it." So he learns all that before his parents pass away. So Rick wakes up after clashing swords with the scorpion human, and scorpion human's gone. His wooden sword that's been around for 300 years is basically destroyed. It looks like a toothpick now.
Oh, damn.
It looks like nothing. So he wakes up and he sees both his parents dead. So he mourns a little bit, but instantly starts taking on responsibility. He wraps them up in animal pelts
All right.
and brings them to the top of a hill where they bury people. So he's bringing both his parents to the cemetery, basically.
Right.
So he brings them both up, wrapped in pelts. He puts them right next to each other, and he makes a cairn. You know what a cairn is?
Yeah.
Covering with rocks.
Yeah.
So people that don't know, a cairn is you take a body, you wrap them up, and then you completely cover that body in rocks. That way no birds can eat it. No wolves are supposed to be able to get it.
Yeah, we covered this in Shipwreck.
It's been a thing. Yeah, I was hoping. So right after he's finished burying his parents, two little fairies show up, and they see that Rick is flush with money. He's got gold. His mom had been hiding and making gold for years and years. She never told Rick once where it was, but he was smart enough to figure out where she hid the gold. So after his parents passed away, he went and picked up all the gold they had, all the food they had, whatever he could take, and he went on a journey vowing to kill Scorpion Tattoo
this human,
human.
right. Okay.
So the first thing that happens is fairies show up and start giving hyperboles and metaphors and rhymes, and they're not being very helpful. They're like, if you come to the gold circle, many men will make money, blah, blah, blah. Like, bullshit.
Yeah, the
and so
poetry
he's like,
bullshit.
poetry type bullshit. So he follows them, and because he kind of thinks they're going to show him how to get a good weapon to kill the scorpion. That's kind of what they say. So he goes deeper into the forest with his bag of gold, his broken wooden sword, and a little bit of food, whatever. So the fairies lead him to a stump, and they say, that's the old tree, or the first tree. If you go into there, you will get whatever weapon you need to blah, blah, blah. So he goes over and he starts looking in the stump, which is just a normal stump, basically. And the fairies go over to his bag and steal all his gold.
Oh.
They steal all his food. They even steal a flag that his father had made. So stuff that's not even worth anything.
Yeah, what
they're
the
just
hell?
stealing everything that Rick has. So he turns around and realizes this stump isn't the first tree. He turns around, he sees the fairies stealing all his shit. He tries to catch them. They're fairies. They're fucking gone.
They're gone.
They fly. So he's like done. He's like, I am not trying anymore. I thought I was tough. I went after to avenge my parents, but I have nothing left. I have no way of getting there, whatever. And so he just passes out in the clearing near the stump. He wakes up and it's sunlight. When he went to sleep, it was like definitely night. So he wakes up and it's sunlight, and he's like, this is weird. Like, I didn't sleep that long, whatever. And he looks down at the stump, and the goddess, the actual forest goddess, is sitting on the stump.
Nice.
She greets him. What do you want? Why are you here? Don't bother me unless it's important, type of thing. And he's like, he explains, my parents were killed. I want to avenge them by killing the scorpion man, whatever. And she was like, that's not good. Like, the whole continent is going to suffer if you do that, if you try to take your vengeance. He's like, what if I need a weapon that you're supposed to give me? What if I give you the weapon back after I take my justice? Will the whole continent be destroyed or whatever? And the goddess says, no, if you do right, if you are a good goblin, or she just says good person.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm a goblin, we're people of the night. And she says, you are what you make yourself, which is a very common saying.
Yeah, right.
So she's explaining to the goblin, like, you don't have to steal. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You could just be a good person or whatever. So she explains, you need to go to the first tree. I'm not the first tree. I'm just a goddess. You need to make a pilgrimage to the first tree, repair your sword that your father gave you, and you'll be able to murk the Scorpion King. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And like I said, she shows him that the whole continent's going to basically be destroyed. She says, is this what you want? Is this worth your revenge? And he's like, yep. I swear I'll bring the sword back, and then you can reset things and make everything all right. She's like, okay, all right, there you go. And she releases him, and his sword's not fixed. It still looks
he's got to
fucked
get
up.
to the tree.
He's got to get there. She gives him a pack of seeds that looks like it. To me, it looks like a hornet's nest, like that would hang from a limb or something. It looks like leaves mushed together, but it's a pack of seeds. Okay. And she says, here's a pack of seeds. And he goes, what are these seeds for? And she says, you're asking the wrong question, which is very common in like God
fantasy
and fantasy
stuff,
shit. And so she doesn't answer. She's gone. And now he's on his journey. Yeah, she doesn't answer. So now he's on his journey. He's told to go to the first tree, which is across the Great River. So they're kind of on the west coast of the map. He needs to follow the east a ways, and then he needs to go north across the Great River to the Great Tree. So in the YouTube video, I'll have the pictures and stuff, and it'll be easier to figure out. But if you're just listening, he needs to go from the west coast basically to the middle, and then straight up to the north is kind of his path.
A long trip.
It's huge. It's like it's like America, basically.
Okay.
It looks kind of like a shitty America. It might even supposed to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's traveling along. He's got nothing. He's got no food.
Yeah.
He's got no gold. He's got no weapons. He's just traveling, and he sees his parents' flag that they had made for themselves. He sees that hanging up in a tree, and then he sees a fire a distance away. So he goes, something's going on. There's a fire there. That means they got food. I smell food. Like, maybe it's a goblin. I'll go, like, meet up with them. So he says, all right, I'm going to go over here. And then he gets to the fire, and it's just two humans, and their names are Sally and Mally. They're brother and sister. They are not the top shelf humans, basically. So Rick shows up, and he sees them with his parents' flag. He sees his parents' gold in some of their stuff. And we get to hear what Sally and Mally are talking about. And they're talking about eating shit tea. Like how it's a delicacy to drink this shit tea. They're dumb. It makes very clear that they're super dumb.
Right.
So as Rick gets closer to try to steal his family's gold back and some other stuff, he sees that there's a wolf in a cage directly across from his gold. So he tries to reach through the wolf's cage to grab the gold and steal it back. The wolf is scared because he got kidnapped by Sally and Mally. He bites Rick, and Rick screams. And Sally and Mally are so dumb that they think it's the wolf making that noise. And one of them comes over to try to check on the wolf, whatever. And goes, "There's nothing going on. We're good." And then goes back home. And then as Rick is getting the gold, he releases the wolf at the same time. And the wolf is so happy that he starts barking and yipping and making a noise. And Sally comes over. She goes, "There's a thief here. He's a goblin." No, she always calls everything wrong. So she calls him an orc. She does. The wolf is a dog. The shit is poo. Like, she doesn't call anything correctly.
Called the shit poo.
She called her shit poo. She's like, the dog, and then there's an orc or whatever. And he's like, "No, that's a wolf and a goblin." So they start trying to chase, or they do chase both of them down. The dog's name is Fish Breath. He doesn't give him that name for a while, but I'm going to give it to you now so I have a name for it. So Rick and Fish Breath run away, and they run into like a Hobbit scene where they're on a tree sticking out over a waterfall. They're stuck. They have nowhere to go. So Rick starts making his his bear sounds. He'd been practicing his whole life to make bear calls. Sally and Mally show up to the spot, and he's making the bear calls, and they're like, "We're gonna kill you, boy," whatever, like almost some like bullshit. And a bear pops out of the woods and starts fucking up Sally and Mally.
Oh, damn.
So Rick and Fish Breath are like, "Oh, we're good. But they end up falling off the falls, basically. They wash down river way further than they want to, and they end up in, it's called the Haunted Valley. So they're in the Haunted Valley after escaping Sally and Mally. They do have their gold, and he has fish breath with him now. So he's a goblin with gold, a little bit of food, those seeds from earlier, and a partner who's a puppy, Fish Breath, who's a wolf. So they're traveling through the Haunted Valley, and Fish Breath shows him a cave with water, fresh water in it. So they go into the cave. Fish Breath kind of whines a little bit, but Rick is like, "No, we found the perfect spot. Like, stop tripping." So they find like a pool of water right in the cave, and they're like, "Oh, this is beautiful, whatever." So they keep going into the cave because he goes, "I bet this water leads to the Great River," which the first tree is across from the Great River. So he goes, "Oh, this is the way we need to go." So they keep traveling further and further into the cave, and he ends up just passing out. Rick and Fish Breath, they're really deep in the cave. There's a bunch of statues and weapons and skulls all just kind of littering the ground at this point. So it should be pretty obvious that there's some sort of problem, and they should get out. And that's what Fish Breath has been whining about. Fish Breath is trying to tell him, "Hey man, this isn't the spot to stay," whatever. So they pass out for the night, and as Rick is sleeping, he has a dream of the scorpion tattoo guy and him killing him, whatever. So he wakes up.
Wants his vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. So he wakes up, and he's like, "We got to follow this water to its source so we can get to the Great River."
Right.
As they're going through the cave, he starts hearing words. "Boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo, nobody likes me." And at first he thought it was his dog, because that was the only thing around that made sense, that was making boo-hoo noises. They go further and further in the cave, and they get past like a big doorway. They walk through the doorway, and they're like, "Whoa, what is that?" They see a minotaur, like a 30-foot minotaur, straight up minotaur. His head's a bull. He's really furry. He's got regular human legs. So like a standard like Greek minotaur. And he's talking about, "I'm all alone. I'm so sad, blah, blah, blah." And then Rick and Fish Breath walk through the door, and he slams it closed behind them. And he's like, "Oh, crap." Rick is like, "Fuck, I'm about to die." He doesn't say that, but he's like thinking he's about to die. And this is what the Minotaur says. The Minotaur says, "Who dares talk of rivers and other such bodies of water?" And this is Rick. I don't want to hurt you. And then the Minotaur says, "Hurt me? Foolishness. How can you hurt me if we're And then the next whole page is the Minotaur hugging Rick and say, best friends forever. So the whole deal is this Minotaur was just a normal Minotaur that could roam the countryside. He ate a witch, which is very common in this world. The witches are very common. He ate a witch, and the other witches got pissed about it. So they sentenced him to live in the cave of loneliness forever. Uh-huh. So he's like Dracula or something. He can't leave the cave. He's stuck there. So anytime somebody comes in, he wants them to be his friends. He wants to hang out. So there's like 10 feet of skulls around this dude of friends, air quotes, friends that came into the cave, and he trapped there and made them stay until they died. Yeah. So there's tons of bones. So Rick's like, I'm screwed. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of here? He's like real clever. I'm going to skip a little bit. He's real clever, and he tricks the Minotaur into thinking a rock is Rick's heart. So he goes, look, the Minotaur does not have a name. He goes, look, sir, I have a really fun game at home, and we could play it forever, but you have to let me go for me to go home and get it, and then I'll come back. And the Minotaur is like, you think I'm stupid, like, blah, blah. And he's like, no, obviously you know that goblins have rock hearts, and that they smell like rock and they look like rock, and that's why it looks like a rock. And the Minotaur's like, oh, of course. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. So he goes, I'm going to go home. Let me leave. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to grab the best game ever, and I'll come right back. And the Minotaur believes him and lets him go. So he escapes.
Nice.
Now he's still got to cross the...
You better go back.
Yeah, he's still got to cross the giant river, the Great River. The Great River is basically circled around the first tree. So no matter what, you have to cross the Great River. Okay. It's every direction.
It's an island?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. They don't show the very north of it, but what we see is basically an island circled by the Great River. So Rick and Fish Breath show up to the city of Ara. It's the first place they see that could possibly cross the Great River. They're like, oh, that's a town. Let's go from the Minotaur's place to this town, and we'll cross the Great River, and we'll get to the first tree.
Or a ferry or
something. Yeah. So they get there, and nobody's around. Nobody's alive outside. They go inside. They holler, hey, we need a boat. And then one person inside screams, get out of here, Goblin. Like, you're not welcome. So he's walking around town, and he sees basically everything's burnt down. Everybody's dead. And he shows up to the main well of the city. And there's a lieutenant of the city. I don't know, a guard of the city there. And he's like, what are you doing here, Goblin? You here to rob me? And he's like, I have no tricks. I'm here to kill the scorpion face man, whatever. Yeah. So he gives this guy water, and the guy finally opens up to because nobody likes goblins. I don't know if that was obvious.
No, it seems so.
So nobody liked goblins. So he shows up, and the goblin Rick gives him water and like is really nice to him. So he gives him info. Rick asked, was it an army that showed up and killed this town? He said, no, it was hell. It was, and then he describes this scorpion tattooed face man with other people.
Yeah, obviously it's not just him by himself.
He's got his own crew. So he describes that. He says that they are a result of dead people's dreams. He says he's like evil and that he wouldn't be born of humans. He's born of dead people's dreams. Okay. The scorpion man.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking hardcore.
So Rick is like, I need to get across the river. How do I get across the river? And the poor guard is like, he destroyed all the boats. You can go to the dock and try to find a boat, but he destroyed all the boats. So Rick gets to the dock, and he realizes that the scorpion face man doesn't want anybody to leave. He doesn't want anybody to escape, so he destroyed all the boats. So even people that weren't fighters, weren't even fighters, couldn't get away. He's trying to completely conquer the land.
Yeah,
we learned that. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, but we learned that for sure.
Gotta leave someone alive to be conquered, though.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
So Rick puts a bunch of the pieces of boat together and makes a raft, like a shitty raft.
Nice.
And he's like, all right, Fish Breath, we're gonna go across the river. We're gonna find the first tree, and I'm gonna kill Scorpion Face Man. So they're trying to get across the river. There's all sorts of rapids. Their boat completely breaks apart. Fish breath starts washing away, which is the wolf. And Rick the Goblin, before this started, said he couldn't swim. So he sees fish breath like floating away, basically, and he jumps off what's left of the raft to save fish breath. So they're floating down the stream. They're under the water. They can't surface, and they finally surface in a swamp. It's called the Swamp of Aegon. Rick wakes up. He can't see fish breath right away. Fish breath is down the shore. Runs over to fish breath. Oh my God, you're dead. You're dead. Fish breath is not dead. So he's very happy. They're kind of just hanging out thinking, oh, we have no money. We have no food. We only have these seeds. And we're somewhere we don't know. And a lady, I guess she's a witch, starts floating by in a canoe screaming for Raoul. Raoul, where are you? Where are you? And she gets close to Rick, and she goes, there you are, Raoul. You've been gone for so long. And Rick is just quiet, and he's like, oh, man, this lady's got a good boat. I could use this boat to get across the river.
A nice boat.
Yeah. So he's
Hola.
like, basically. So the witch says, come on, Raoul, hop in the boat. We're going to go home. And so they row back to her house. She's talking to, air quotes, Raoul the whole time. I missed you. Why did you and your brothers have to leave on missions or whatever? I missed you. I'm so glad you're back. So they get to her house. It's like a shitty swamp shack, basically. But she gives Rick whatever soup that she has. It's like mushroom and nothing, basically. She gives him all the soup she has, and then he passes out. And like she walks into the room, and I was like, oh my God, she's about to do some like witch shit. She's about to like, you know what I mean? But she just smiles and looks at him in fish breath. So the next morning, Rick is like, hey, I gotta leave. I'm gonna take your boat, whatever. And she's like, that's fine. Make sure you bring back your pendant, because all her family has like a pendant. And she was like, please bring yours back next time. And as he's getting further away, she goes, I know you didn't have the pendant. A mother always knows. So she knew it wasn't Raoul. She was far enough gone where she just needed comfort of some sort.
Yeah, seems
so
like.
Even though this was a goblin or whatever, she didn't care. She treated him very nice and gave him the boat and didn't even call him out for lying.
Right.
So they're going across the water.
He better go back.
Oh, okay. So I missed that part.
Third time I've said it.
I missed the part. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm glad you said that. So Fish Breath is looking at Rick like all like, why'd you do that type of thing. He's like, man, I gave her the seeds that the goddess gave us, and I left her all the gold. All the gold I had in my giant pouch. She can buy another boat. She'll be fine. Don't think of me as a monster. So he's only done good stuff so far.
Right.
Rick has pretty much been nice to the dog. He'd been nice to the old lady. Even though he took her boat, he gave her a fuck ton of money and gave her seeds for her garden to grow, which is one of the things she wanted. So they're getting across. They basically get across the Great River.
Cool.
And now they're in another swamp. And the swamp, we're just going to call the Dofta village. So him and Fish Breath.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, right. Super simple. Him and Fish Breath show up, and they're instantly captured by fishmen, which is funny because you did croak, and it was chicken
people,
men.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, these are actually frog people, and instead of croak, they say chorp, 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 chorp,
Chorp.
which is dumb as fuck. I don't know if I've ever heard a frog that sounds like chorp, chorp. But they get captured. Him and Fish Breath get captured. They get taken before their king. And the king's like, you're thieves and liars. And he's talking all this shit. And Rick is like, what's going on? And then they pull out Sally and Mally in a cage. So they're like captured in their cage that they had.
Yeah.
And supposedly, or apparently, they were supposed to be giving most of that money or the gold they had to this Dofta village. So they showed up to the Dofta village and were like, hey, this goblin stole our gold, whatever. And they put him in jail because they're like, you're lying. You just, used our gold.
Spent it or whatever.
So Rick shows up and they're like, hey, that's the freaking guy. So they're so happy. And so the king of the Dofta village is like, did you steal their money, whatever? And he goes, it wasn't their money. It was my parents' money. I took it back, blah, blah. And he goes, he admits it. He's guilty. trial over. And Rick is like, wait, what trial? He's like, we're not monsters. Just pay back what you owe them and you'll be released. And he goes, I don't have that money anymore. I gave it to somebody. And he goes, Goblin giving away money? Now I know you're lying. So he goes, all right, you're going to be sentenced to death. If you can't pay back your debt, you're sentenced to death. And Rick is like, I'm trying to get to the first tree. And the Dofta King is like, if you think it was that easy, you don't think we would already have gone to the first tree? Like, you can't get to the first tree. There's too much security.
Security.
Too much security. You're not going to be able to get in and get the treasure of the first tree. He goes, well, if you let me go there, I'm either going to die like you want, or I'm going to come back with the treasure and give you the treasure. And the Dofta King's like, you're ballsy, bro. Like, that's awesome. I've never met a goblin that's that ballsy. He goes, all right, fine. And then he, like, passes out for a second, and then all of a sudden he's in front of the first tree. So the Dofta tribe knows where the entrance to the first tree is. It's the temple of the first tree, meaning the doors at the bottom.
Okay.
So they're like, it's impossible. You can't beat the first tree. You won't ever get the prize. You're going to die. He's like, I got this. So he goes into the temple of the first tree, and the Dofta frogmen like slam the door behind him. He's like, how am I supposed to get back out? Whatever. So he's really worried. So he's like walking through the cave, and he sees like a skull on the wall, and it starts moving and like jittering. Then he realizes it's like a 1 foot by 1 foot beetle with a back of it looks like a skull. So giant bugs.
Right.
There's a bunch of giant bugs.
Gross.
And he's like, oh, why are you getting scared of bugs? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So he keeps moving, and then there's I'll just say it. It's an apparition of the Scorpion Man with the tattoo on his face. And he thinks he's trying to fight him. He shoots an arrow at him, and then it turns into his parents. And his parents are like, why'd you do that? Why'd you kill us? And then Rick just is on fire. So he shot his parents with an arrow, or shot the Scorpion Man with an arrow. It turned out to be his parents, whatever. And then all of a sudden he's on fire, which makes him realize, oh, this is a vision.
Real.
It's not real. He was like, none of that stuff would happen in a row, like, so it's not real. So he looks around, and the temple of the first tree looks way different. It literally actually looks like the inside of a tree now, whereas before it was just all stone walls.
Temple.
And, temple, a real temple. Now he's looking around, and he's like, oh shit, this is actual what it looks like, and it's a giant tree with a huge spiral staircase going all the way up.
Cool.
So he's like, that's the way I need to go. So he starts traveling up, and he sees a skeleton about to shoot arrow at him. He goes, oh, it's another fake apparition, whatever. So he doesn't move, and the skeleton's real, and he shoots an arrow, and it nicks Rick's arm. And he's like, oh, okay, so this is real. So he does what his father taught him, like patience and whatever, the goblin way. Ends up shooting the skeleton perfectly in the skull, like right in the head, and he drops. So as he's going up, he notices that the pendant on the skull is Raoul. It's Raoul from the witches. So he takes the pendant from the dead Raoul, and he's like, I'll return you. I'll return your pendant. So he gets attacked by a whole bunch of other like actual apparitions, not real things. He swings across a big open gap like a leap
Luke
of faith.
Skywalker.
Like a leap of faith from whatever.
I said Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's close enough. he like swings across. Then now all of a sudden he's back in that same clearing that he was at the beginning that the fairies brought him to, where the goddess was. And he's pissed. He's like looking around. He's like, God damn it! I'm literally exactly where I started.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I didn't mention it, but the goddess at the beginning told him that after this mission, that time wouldn't flow normally for him because he was in a lot of crazy magical places, and that if he came out, time would be different. So he comes out, and he's like, I'm back at the beginning. He starts talking to the goddess, and the goddess is like, you chose kindness. You chose friendship. You chose not greed. You did everything you needed to do. And he's like, what? It doesn't matter. I couldn't get to the great tree or the first tree. She goes, no, you're here. Check your sword. And his sword, it looks badass now. It literally looked like a toothpick, like a fucked up toothpick before. But now it kind of looks like Sting from the Lord of the Ring movies. And she explains, hey, there is no real first tree. First tree is the blood that flows through you. First tree is goodness. I'm part of the first tree. So there actually isn't even like, wah, wah.
No, that's cool.
So he learns from her that he's done everything right. He's in the position to make his revenge. And she's like, do you still want to do it? Is this something you still want? He's like, yeah, I still want to do this.
For sure.
Yeah. So he wakes back up, like he leaves the circle of the goddess, and he's back in the Dofta village. He's looking around. All the Dofta are dead. It's just ancient ruins.
Well, you got to get these guys together
Their
again.
steeds, like which look like salamanders. They're all dead.
Oh, cool.
So he's leaving. He's trying to holler. He's like, Dofta, Dofta. And nobody's answering. So he's about to get away from the village and hears, and then he sees a giant white wolf coming towards him. And as it's coming towards him, he already kind of guessed that it was Fish Breath. He goes, is it? And then Fish Breath is full grown now, runs over and starts licking Rick's face.
Nice.
So, like, if you, like, worked out, like, the time and stuff, this is the oldest dog ever or wolf in the history of the world. Because you'll see. So now he's reunited with Fish Breath. Fish Breath's full grown. Oh, I love you. I won't leave you again, whatever. So he puts a saddle on Fish Breath to try to make it all the way to the Black Castle, which is where the scorpion face man is ruling from.
Right.
So he's talking about how far it is and how are they going to get across the river again because they're back across the river. So as he's riding Fish Breath, he puts a saddle on Fish Breath so they can ride really fast. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he gets to the river, he sees a huge living bridge across with trees and plants that cross the entire Great River onto the other side. So he's like, where'd that come from? So he gets across and he realizes right on the other side is the shack of the witch with Raoul. So those seeds he gave her many years ago, she planted all of them right away, and it grew fruits and it grew plants, a bridge across the river.
Damn. So when he was in his little vision temple thing, a lot of time passed.
Tons of time.
Okay.
That's why the wolf should be dead long ago.
So it's a lot longer than I'm thinking.
Yes, okay. It really is. So they're back at the witch's shack, and they see a gravestone for the witch, and he goes, well, that means somebody was here that loved you and took care of you and buried you. And then you had food the whole time. You had access to across the river because you felt guilty stealing her boat originally. Yeah. And now he realizes, oh, man, I made her life, like, perfect, basically. I completed it. And he has the amulet that he stole from inside the first tree, which was her son's, Raoul's, and he puts it on her nice. Gravestone. It's really cool. And then him and Fish Breath start hauling ass to the Black Castle. They get to the Black Castle, and there's no guards outside. The gate's even up. And he's like, what's going on? So he leaves Fish Breath outside again. He's promised he would never leave Fish Breath again, but he's like, this is the one time, whatever. So he goes inside. All the guards are bones. Like, all the guards are bones. He keeps yelling, where are you? Where are you? And he finally gets into the inner chamber, and the scorpion face king is still alive. But he's, like, old as
I was going to ask if he's old as shit.
He's old as balls. And the goblin's like, Rick is like, I'm going to make you pay for my parents. And he's like, I don't care about anyone. I don't care about you. I don't know who your parents are. I don't know who you are. I just kill people. That's all I do. I live forever and I kill people. And he's like, you're not going to live forever, whatever. They start talking back and forth. So they have an actual fight. But Rick now has the blessed sword, basically. Mm-hmm. So as they're fighting, he cuts Scorpion King's giant two-handed 8-foot sword in half. Chops it in half, and the king's like, oh wow, you're more badass than I thought, whatever. And Rick's about to kill him, and the king's like, do it in my suffering, in blah blah blah. He's like, yep, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And the king's like, what? You beat me, like you can take over the whatever, and then you'll be known forever. And he's like, I don't care. He goes, no, I'm gonna forgive you. I'm done. You're gonna die anyways. And as he's leaving, the king's like, I'll be remembered forever. I took over this entire continent. I ruled this entire castle for years and years and years. You'll be forgotten as soon as you die, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of like the end of it. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's a cool ending, whatever.
Right.
But then they have an epilogue. And it says the Black Castle 100 years later. So now you have two
Jesus.
like thieves, human thieves showing up to the castle. They sneak in, they get in, and they find the king bones, long bin bones. They're trying to steal his crown, and then it breaks, and they're like, this crown ain't worth shit. We're out. Like, there's nothing worth it here. And then they hear a, oh, in the background, and they go, is that the wolf? And he goes, you don't think? And he goes, no, that's just a kid's story. Don't worry about it. And they run away. And the last panel is Rick and the wolf hanging out like half a mile away on a hillside. And they're both still alive. Everyone knows about Rick. Everybody knows about the wolf. It's a
children's story.
Yeah,
legend
like,
now.
but so when they go into the castle, they have no idea who the king is. They don't know his name. They have no idea anything about him. But when they hear the "Aou," they instantly think of Rick and a wolf. And this is 100 years after he refused to kill the king. And that is literally the end.
Damn.
Super cool. Let me do a How Are the Faces. Very good. There was only a few humans, but you could tell all the humans apart and all the goblins apart.
Nice, that's good. I like the him going back. Like the normally in fantasy stories, when shit happens, it's just because they're there.
Yeah.
It's like for the sake of, hey, I was traveling, a bad guy popped up, I had to get away from him. But like that all seemed to mean something.
It really did.
Because he had to go back, he had to, give the sword back or whatever, and then
it was dope. Dark Horse Books killed it.
So last week I did Happy, and I had a lot of fun doing something a little mainstream. So I just said screw it. I went all out. I did just a straight up Marvel comic.
Yeah, we have to do them sometime.
Yeah, and I've never done it. Happy was the first like close to mainstream thing I've done.
Really?
Yeah, everything else I found is some.
I've done.
No, you have,
Marvel
but
and DC for sure.
Weird underground stuff I find. Yeah, the only DC thing I did was that Vertigo Visions crap.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't really veer out of, like, underground too often. But I did find a Marvel comic called Dark Ages. It was written by Tom Taylor. Artist is Ivan Coelho. And, yeah, Marvel. It came out in 2021. So this, I couldn't find, 2021, I couldn't find where it was set. I don't know if the characters involved in this story has any bearing on what the Marvel universe is doing right now.
Okay.
I don't know if some of these characters were made specifically for this comic or if they're in the 616 universe at this time doing shit, right? So, I mean, I'll just say it now, there's a lot of characters together.
Of course.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll be like breaking down where everyone's at by like, okay, and now blah, blah, blah's here. So To kick it off, they're in New Jersey. It's Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Peter Parker, and MJ. So they're all chilling, having pizza, and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have a kid named... what was her name? I forgot her name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Peter and MJ have a kid named May.
Yeah.
Danny. Danny is Luke Cage's daughter.
So
Danny and May are playing. They're all chilling, eating pizza. They make a joke about, hey, get her off the ceiling. And Peter jumps up there. And he says, when it happened, all the spiders felt it first. So it shows Peter and May screaming. It cuts to Miles Morales, who's on the side of a building. He's screaming. It shows Gwen, Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Shows them all just holding their heads screaming. So at the same time, this other chick, her name is Lunella Lafayette. She is like the smartest person in the world. Like above Tony. It says she's basically on her dinosaur in the middle of New York running to talk to the smartest person in the world.
Okay.
It shows Jean Grey doing her psychic thing with Charles. And then it says one went further. And it basically shows Apocalypse. And it says his mind touched something old and powerful and he craved more. So Apocalypse goes, yes, I hear you. So don't know what's going on yet. Spider-Man's like, hey, I need to get out of here. He puts on his suit. He rolls to the Baxter building. Lafayette, the young, smartest girl in the world, smartest person in the world, she rolls up to the Baxter building. The Fantastic Four are all there. Then Valeria, their daughter, and then Moon Girl, I guess that's Lafayette, is Moon Girl.
Okay.
So Moon Girl and then Danny. No, that's Moon Girl. Sorry. They're all there. They're talking about what's going on. And she says, listen, I can feel the tectonic plates are shifting, and it's not from something hitting the surface. It's from something hitting it inside.
Oh,
and so what's happening is like, I think the world is ending. So then Uatu, the Watcher, the dude that just sits on the moon and watches, he pops up and he's like, yeah, y'all are fucked. The world's ending. Y'all have like a few hours.
No shit.
He's like, this is what I've been watching for. Y'all don't have a lot of time. So he explains, this is basically the whole point, is 10 billion years ago, a living machine was created. It was made to protect the universes and consume black holes and stop shit in its tracks out there, right? But over millennia, feeding on so much darkness corrupted its core.
Right.
And it became the Unmaker. It was so strong to unmake planets, solar systems. Dude was destroying everything. It's just like a giant, almost like not Sentinel, Celestial.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But it's very mechanical looking, more so than them, who's just big statues.
Looks like part destroyer from Asgard.
And some of the God armor stuff
Yeah.
Iron Man made, some of that.
That's
so
very close.
Living Tribunal, who, if you don't know Living Tribunal, he's like the dude under God. Basically, anyone's messing around, he pops up to be like, hey, knock it off.
Yeah.
So he shows up and is literally like, hey, knock it off. But this thing is too strong that it can't be destroyed. It just needs to be put to sleep. So he puts it to sleep in the middle of a forming planet, which is Earth. So that's why he's in the middle of Earth. Uatu was like, listen, he's going to wake up and just unmake everything. Basically, the entire universes are at danger from this guy.
Right.
He's going to unmake everything. So they immediately start assembling all the greatest thinkers on the planet. They assembled a strike team, right? So it's Vision, because he's a machine to go fight a machine. They got the Scarlet Witch, the shaper of reality, Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, the Invisible Woman, and then the Thing in case something needs to be hit really hard.
Right.
So they open a portal, they say their goodbyes, and they go through. And they pop up basically in the center of the Earth, and this giant Unmaker thing is there in the core, and he like doesn't pay them any attention. He's still punching the walls basically to him, trying to get out of where he is. So they're about to be killed by crushing rocks. Sue does her little orb things.
Yeah.
So now the shockwaves, the tremors can be felt in Wakanda. It's Shuri and Black Panther. It shows Nepal being destroyed. It shows Canada. Who's the Alpha Flight? Is that the white and red dude with the maple leaf on his, or is that a team?
He's part of Alpha Flight.
What's his name? Anyway, it just shows him watching.
Redeemer? I don't remember.
It shows him just watching Canada get destroyed. So it's so bad that even under the surface, that Atlantis or wherever Namor lives, Atlantis is getting destroyed. So everything's messing up. Now it cuts to, across the world, it's showing all these superheroes get together. So it's showing Wolverine, which is X-23, and then a clone of her, which is Honey Badger.
Yeah.
It shows them wrecking shop, saving people. It shows the Avengers. It shows Los Angeles. The Runaways are helping. The Champions, which is Miss Marvel, and then Guardians, other people. It shows all the events. Shows everyone just trying to help save people from dying in these earthquakes and tremors. So it shows the Thing, and he's going to punch the Unmaker, and he just shoots this green beam at him, and the Thing is gone. Ben Grimm is dead. He's gone. So Sue is freaking out. Scarlet Witch attempts to do some magic and reshape reality and does all this stuff. He just completely unmakes her. She turns to dust and disappears. Vision flies in his head and tries to mess with his dome. It doesn't work. Stops him for 1 second. So now this is the whole point, is Doctor Strange. He goes out looking in other realities for a weapon, and he finds one. So he opens a portal, and it's basically an EMP. So the Unmaker realizes what Doctor Strange is doing, and he hits him right in the chest with this giant metal pole thing he throws. So Doctor Strange is dead. So because Doctor Strange dies, the portal doesn't close. And the portal is just pure electromagnetic energy. It's just like a neutron star that is consistently sending out EMP from this portal, from the center of the Earth.
Okay.
So everything stops. Ships fall to the ground. All the machines stop. The Iron Man stop. The suit stops. Scott is a giant. He's stuck in this giant Ant-Man form. Damn. Pacemakers turn off. That pink Vivian chick that rolls with the Hulk says artificial life just shuts off. Even Spider-Man's little web shooters are done.
Damn.
Can't use anything. Complete EMP, no power. Spider-Man shows up. There's a moment where he thinks everyone's dead, and May basically is lifting this big concrete slab, saved everyone. So they're all good. And then he's sitting at a campfire telling this story. He's like, but years after the lights went out, after the end, came the apocalypse. And it shows apocalypse with She-Hulk, Beast, Lady Deathstrike, I'm assuming, same kind of claws.
Yeah.
Reed Richards and this Venom thing and a steam-powered Iron Man.
God damn.
So it shows him, and that was issue 1. There's 6 issues, and these start going pretty fast in the middle. Basically, second issue starts with people, after the power went out, everyone started fighting. Superheroes and supervillains continue to fight. A bunch of people died till at one point the psychics and everyone started telling everyone, hey, spread this message. It doesn't have to be this way. We can figure out a new way. So they actually start working together to basically build a good post-apocalyptic society. They're like, why does it always have to be doom and gloom? Like, let's make a good place for everyone. So May is like, looks like she's about 9 at the very least. She's swinging around, pink and blue suit, Spider-Man's daughter. She's swinging around. They have steam-powered web shooters now. No power, still
you can't use
no electricity.
Yeah,
so it's just showing everyone throughout the world. They're all connected by psychics, like Professor X in Brazil. There's a woman in Australia and Nepal. They can all talk to each other. Wakanda, I think it's Jean Grey. They're there. Shuri's there. Doctor Doom, Lunella Lafayette, Shuri, Tony Stark, T'Challa, Nadia Van Dyne, Amadeus Cho, and Victor Von Doom.
God damn.
They're all there.
That's
Wakanda,
like all the smartest people.
Smartest people in the world. Moon Girl's there, a little older.
Yeah, holy shit.
So they've just developed this chemiluminescence.
Okay.
So basically chemically produce light and
yeah,
electricity. So that's what they've been working on, building the utopia. And they're like, how do we protect the utopia? We built webs. So it shows Daredevil on a watchtower, and he's like, you hear that? And they're like, where? So this is fucking vampires attack.
Oh,
because it's dark and no power, so the vampires are occasionally attacking the heroes. Now, Wolverine, Honey Badger, which they're just a clone of Wolverine, who was his X-23.
Little girl. Wolverine.
She's a young girl, yeah. So Blade's there, and this girl named Elsa. They're all freaking basically the best vampire hunters. So they roll out, do their job. They just start killing werewolves and vampires. It shows Tony Stark and Pepper. They're in a cave. He's working on alchemy. So a vampire comes in, and Captain America pops up behind him and cuts his head off with a shield. And he's like, hey, we need to talk. So he starts talking to Tony and tells him, like, what if I told you all those ideas you've been having since the power went out? We could do it. We can turn the switches on. And Tony's like, how? And he moves some bushes, and Apocalypse, Dracula, and Captain America are all standing there. And he's like, Apocalypse is like, hello, Iron Man. They immediately start fighting and scrapping. Dracula runs up behind Tony and just picks him up and starts choking him.
Yeah.
Captain America knocks him out with his shield. And as he's passing out, he sees its Mystique with Captain America's shield, Apocalypse, and Dracula.
Okay.
So they do a big portal, and they jet.
Yeah.
So they pop up in Europe. Now they're in Paris, basically at the Louvre, that big pyramid, basically.
Yeah, glass pyramid.
So he explains to him, I have electricity, and let me show you how I'm doing it. And he has Magneto basically put inside what they call a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
And he's looking around and he sees Riri, which is Ironheart, one of the smartest people in the world, way older now, basically an adult.
Yeah.
Reed Richards is there. They were like, we thought you were dead, man. And Reed Richards is like, hey, anything I can do to help in Sabanur.
Oh,
He's
nice.
like, dude, are you being threatened? What are you talking about?
Hell
Like, that's freaking Apocalypse. And he's like, oh, the power running. How have you done this? That's when he explains it's not something, it's someone. It's Magneto up there, and basically a dome just constantly being electrocuted and sucked his electricity out of his power, out of his body. And he goes, oh, well done. Apocalypse says, well done. Hey, Kilgrave. And Tony goes, Kilgrave, and he immediately mind controls. Now, Kilgrave is the purple man.
Oh, that's right.
Who basically takes over your mind, and tells you what to do.
Yeah.
So we can assume that Reed Richards, Riri, Tony Stark, all of them are being controlled by Kilgrave and Magneto, all working for Apocalypse, right? So his whole plan is we're going to wake up the Unmaker. Get to work, Tony. So now, pick up third issue. It shows Johnny and he's like screaming flame on, right? And then he's boiling a tea kettle at May and Danny's like little tea party they're having with their friends. So it's been somewhat peaceful. Not all the Apocalypse shit has popped up yet. They're still just chilling in their utopia that they've built, right? So Jessica Jones walks up and Spider-Man's like, what happened? So it cuts to the Alchemist cave where Pepper is, and she's like, Tony didn't come back. Captain America came to visit. Wolverine's immediately like, yeah, that wasn't Captain America. I know that scent. It's Mystique. So she knows. They take off. They're running. They find where Tony was knocked out, where Apocalypse and Dracula were. Blade's there, and he's like, a lot of vampires died here. Stark put up a fight. And they're like, I know who took Tony. So now, again, cutting all over the place. We're in Wakanda with Doctor Doom. Who is that? Johnny. That's Johnny Storm. They're all older, so it's hard to see who they are exactly.
Gotcha.
Like, even Peter Parker has a little gray in him.
Yeah.
So they're all together. Danny, or Moon Girl, Sue Storm, Spider-Man, Johnny, Wakanda, Black Panther. They're all there. They're chilling. And he's basically like, listen, Dr. Doom's like, they have Tony Stark. I'm not one for urgency, but this is a big deal. I know Stark is a time bomb. He makes weapons.
Yeah.
In the hand of Apocalypse, he's detrimental.
Yeah.
Could destroy the entire world.
At the very least,
like, he could fuck us all.
Yeah.
So Pepper's there. She's like, I'll go get him. And they're like, I'll go with you. So they basically form a team, and they're like, we shouldn't just rush into this. And Black Panther's like, well, we do have someone who can rush into this. And you see Quicksilver, who's Magneto's son, just bolting to Europe. He runs in, darts around, and what fucks him up is he sees his dad being electrocuted in this ball, and he jumps up there to save him and gets electrocuted himself, and he's knocked out. Dr. Octopus and Kilgrave are rolling with Apocalypse. They're like, what should we do? Should we lock him away with the others? And Apocalypse is like, no, let's send him back. So he bolts into freaking Wakanda and just fucks shit up, dude.
Quicksilver does?
Yeah,
right?
Quicksilver.
Okay.
He kills Okoye or Ayo, one of them.
Yeah.
He kills one of them and just twists her head off, basically. He darts around the room. He stabs Johnny Storm right in the chest. Now Johnny basically starts to overload, and Sue is there, Jean's there. She makes him go to sleep, so he passes out. Now, Quicksilver's down, and Johnny can't contain basically the power of the sun.
Yeah.
So Sue puts, barriers over everyone, including herself, and Johnny explodes and dies. So she saves everyone: Spider-Man, Jean Grey, Pepper, Shuri, Black Panther, and half of Pieter, which is Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So his legs were outside of the portal. They're done.
Oh, damn.
His legs are gone.
Yeah.
So she's like, I couldn't save him. They talk to Quicksilver. He explains what's going on. It's a Faraday cage. They're running electricity with Magneto. Their plan is to wake up him, Riri, Reed Richards, Dr. Octavius, Hank McCoy, Tony Stark. They're all there. They're all working for Apocalypse. Now, Sue freaks out because she had no idea that Reed Richards was still alive. Her husband was still alive.
Okay.
So she's immediately like, we're going to attack. We're getting this team together. Let's go. So it cuts to and the whole time Spider-Man's narrating like our strike force would be ready to invade Europe the next morning. Some of us would never return. And it shows Apocalypse saying they'll be coming. They'll try to stop us. And someone says they will not succeed. And it's a Venom, but he's red and black. And he's got like Iron Spider-Man's arms, extra appendages coming out of him. Yeah. Here, look at it real quick.
Like a combo of Venom, Iron Spider, and Carnage.
Right, but it's all red, so it looks like Venom Carnage mix. That's what I assumed it was.
That's cool.
So now, this is issue 4. See, we start cruising here. This whole
of course.
issue is basically there's a bunch of mutants gathered on a helicarrier that they've turned into a steamship. Jamie or Madrox, Multiple Man,
Madrox,
he basically runs the ship as Multiple Man.
Oh shit!
That was Danny's or Moon Girl's idea. So Nightcrawler, I guess Age of Apocalypse Nightcrawler, possibly.
That's either he's got the pirate outfit on.
Yeah,
whatever
because he's
one
on a ship. Yeah. But basically Nightcrawler's there, Colossus is there. And it's a huge, helicarriers are huge. So they're bringing like hundreds of thousands of people across from Europe to, I guess they're going to Brazil where the X-Men are running shit. They're taking them all over the place.
Okay.
They're saving them, getting to America all over. Oh, Wakanda. That's what it is.
Okay.
So they start talking about, hey, we'll find people back in Portugal. We'll find places for them. We'll get them here. We'll take care of it. So now Storm was pushing the ship with her wind, so she's like exhausted. T'Challa and Storm's daughter run out, so they have a kid now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's got a crazy long name, but
yeah.
Pepper is in the steam-powered Iron Man suit. She's with Sue. They're walking up to Wakanda. This is years later, I'm guessing a little time afterwards.
Right,
they're talking about that they need to basically... No, this is the next day, sorry. Sue Storm's like, we got to go to Europe. Reed Richards is still alive. We need to go. So Nick Fury's there. Bunch of mutants basically gathered. They split the teams up. They're like, okay, we're going to Europe. Y'all are staying on the ship. Val is saying goodbye to Moon Girl. The X-Men or Wolverine and Danny. No, Danny. Wolverine, Honey Badger, Gabby, and Blade are saying goodbye to Elsa. They're all going to Europe. Pepper's saying goodbye. MJ saying goodbye to Spider-Man. So they're on the ship. Storm's pushing the ship. They're headed to Europe, right back to where they were.
Yeah.
They dropped all the people off, and they're like, let's go fight Apocalypse. So it cuts to nighttime. Storm's exhausted. Doom's there. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage is there. They're sitting there talking about, we need to kill Apocalypse. Like, we have to kill. And they're like, we're not taking advice from you. You were literally a dictator like 3 years ago.
Doom is like the best guy to have on your side.
Dude, there's a really cool part later with him, so I'll tell you then, but I'll wait for it.
So whenever I was in elementary school, I had one comic book shop that I went to, and they only sold comic books. There was like nothing like extra. There was no action figures or nothing like that. There was no shirts. So one day I walk in, and at the front of the store there was hats, snapback hats. They had Iron Man, they had Doctor Doom, they had the Hulk, and a few other ones. And I saw the Doctor Doom one, and it was literally just like Doctor Doom's head, but embroidered. It wasn't like a sticker.
Nice.
It was like actually embroidered. And then on the back, it was embroidered Doctor Doom. And I bought that shit. And that was my favorite hat for literally like 10 years.
Nice. That shit.
That's
a pretty cool hat, actually.
Really
I love Doctor Doom. I hope they do him right in the Marvel movies, which they probably won't. But
no, of course they won't.
I hope they do. So as they're sitting there chatting about we need to kill Apocalypse, May and Danny run out. Now, Danny, Luke Cage's and Jessica Jones's kid, and May is Spider-Man and MJ's kid.
Gotcha.
So they run out and they're like, we're being attacked. They're like, we just felt something. This part is just so rad. Nick Fury gets stabbed in the back with this device, this weapon. You know, he's dying, bleeding out. When they turn around, it's the Ghost Raiders. So when the world went dark, powerless, adrift pirates, right, just lost in the water, they made a deal with the devil. and they're basically a bunch of ghost riding pirates.
Oh shit!
They're all Ghost Riders.
Ghost Rider, yeah.
But they're Ghost Rider pirates.
What's the guy that gives Ghost Rider his powers? Not Beelzebub. What is it?
Lucifer?
I feel like he had another name.
Yeah, but it's the devil.
Yeah,
one
basically,
of them.
One of the bajillion devils.
Yeah, they got a bunch in Marvel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all these dudes are Ghost Riders.
That's sick.
They have chains, they have guns, they have all types of crazy weapons. They shot Nick Fury with like a chain cannon. It was like when they connect to hook up to other boats. It was like one of those.
Oh, okay.
But they shot it straight like a grappling hook, shot straight through his chest.
That's awesome.
So the Wolverines, they attack. Colossus throws them across onto their ship. So now they're chasing the
special or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
They're chasing the helicarrier, which is a boat now. So they're chasing the ship, and they're like, it's 10 miles. We got to get to the Guardians of the port area. So they're getting chased. They're basically defending. Nightcrawler takes off to get Nick Fury, and then this monster pops out of the water, and May screams. And Peter's like, it's okay. She's like, it's a monster. And he goes, yeah, it's our monster. And it's Fing Fang Foom. Bing Bang Boom.
Bing Bang Boom.
It's Fin Fang Foom, and Scott is riding him.
Nice.
He's still giant.
Oh, yeah, because he couldn't
He
change back.
can't shrink.
Yeah.
So he's basically had to get used to being giant. So they guard the port there. So the issue ends with them finding Nick Fury dead. Now this issue starts. They're in Europe. They're burying Nick Fury, and Deadpool just walks up out of nowhere.
Of course.
And he's like, "Hey, welcome to Europe." He's like, "Before I start with my accents, how does everyone feel about cultural stereotypes?" Gabby, Honey Badger, is like, "Wait," and he's like, "Gabby, what are you doing here?" He's like, "This is serious. Why is everyone all serious? Did someone die?" And she's like, "Yeah, Nick Fury." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He's like, he was one of the good guys. So they legit have a nice funeral for him. It cuts back to Apocalypse. Tony's like, I understand what you want, but I need to see the size of the problem. So he gets all his little Kilgrave, Dr. Octopus, Beast, Reed Richards. He gets everyone together.
Dark Beast or whatever?
It looks like Dark Beast. Yeah, Age of Apocalypse Beast.
Yeah.
His face is a little longer than normal Beast.
Well, his skin or fur was way darker.
It was,
like
yeah. He's bright blue.
Constant throughout the Dark Beast he was just darker.
Like I said, I don't know if this has any bearing on what's happening right now in the Marvel world. Beast face right there. There's a good one. Look, there's a good one.
Yeah, it's like Dark Beast colors, his actual look is from what was it called? X-Men. It wasn't Extreme. It was,
Evolution?
No, it was something with a surname or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, because it was.
But see, I don't know if they're actual Age of Apocalypse or what. If
Ultimate?
I
think that was
Ultimate
right. Beast.
He did look a little weird.
Yeah, he looked more feline.
And I don't think that's
what it was.
the melding of universes. I think this is just how they wanted him to look for this
It's
comic.
artist, yeah.
Because seems like a standalone miniseries.
It's trying to be, it seems
for
like.
sure. I mean, Nick Fury's dead.
Yeah,
There's quite a few.
The crossover.
The Thing is dead.
Yeah, you don't have to read 20 different comics. Like the Civil War ones, I had trade paperbacks that collected.
Yeah, you had to read all types of shit.
Yeah.
Because that was an event. I don't think this was an event.
I guess not.
This is just a limited 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah, I guess
where it's
you're
like,
right.
here you go, start to end.
Right.
All right, so Apocalypse takes Beast and Reed Richards and Tony and Shuri all down to see the Unmaker. And they're like, hey, watch out for Doctor Strange's corpse. He's like decayed years ago, but his magical, guards are still in check. Like
heavy duty guy.
He will fuck you up if you try to touch him. So they're walking basically up to the portal, and he's asking Iron Man if he wants to get into the Unmaker's mind. He wants to take control of his body. That's what Apocalypse wants to do.
Okay.
And he needs Tony to
That's
figure out.
Apocalypse's deal. So that makes sense.
And he's like, Tony, figure out a way to do this. So Tony's excited because he's like, it's a challenge. This shit's impossible, but I'll do it. So now the kids, they're worried about the kids. They're like, where do we leave May and Danny with? And then Deadpool's like, aren't you like all great responsibility? Isn't that your whole thing? Shouldn't they just come with you? They're left behind in a refugee camp or with all these superheroes.
Right.
let's roll. So they basically end up getting on a bus. Deadpool's like, then it's settled. Family road trip to the heart of darkness. And it's the Wade Mobile, and it says Road to Wasteland. It's this beat up red bus that he spray painted red and
it's not
drew.
an ice cream truck, is it?
No, it's a bus.
Okay.
It's like a little double decker.
Oh, yeah, double decker.
Because they're in Europe, so it's a little double decker.
Gotcha.
So he decked it all out in red and black.
Yeah.
A bunch of little childish drawings all over it. And he calls it the Dead Mobile. That's what it's called. So they're all loading up. They're rolling out. And he's like joking about stuff on their left and right. And he's like, there's only so far I want to drive in the dark in a post-apocalyptic world, so we're camping here. They're all chilling. They immediately smell something. And Blade and the two Wolverines are like, let's go hunt the hunter. Right? So they get out there. Laura, X-23, gets stabbed immediately. And basically, everyone gets together. They don't know what they're fighting. Doom's already got his magic going. Moon Girl turns her light on, and it's the Venom Carnage mix.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just stabbing everyone. Like, he's trying to stab everyone. The girl's dinosaur, Moon Girl's dinosaur, jumps in the way, gets stabbed in the neck, bites it, throws it over there. Everyone kind of snaps to, and they're like, listen, we were caught off guard, but once we figured out what we were fighting, this thing didn't stand a chance. Pepper.
It's got so much.
Freaking Pepper is like,
spots.
Two symbiotes afraid of fire.
Weak
Shot
spot.
giant
Crazy.
flamethrowers at it. Freaks out. It pops off its host. Now Storm just goes up in the air. Sue shields everyone with her barriers, and Storm just lights them the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Just crack-a-coom.
Crack-a-coom.
They're gone, bro.
Crack-a-coom.
And there's this jacked black dude laying on the ground, and they're like, Miles? So it's Miles Morales. He was the host.
Yeah.
And the next issue, this is the last issue, it goes into when, Miles, basically when the lights went out, he bonded with Venom.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were helping each other, blah, blah, blah. But because he got... Carnage came around, they both were whispering in his head. They brainwashed him, basically. So he was a bad guy without Kilgrave's influence.
Okay.
Because it was Venom and Carnage that were more in charge.
It wasn't Apocalypse telling Kilgrave.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Venom and Carnage were just like, hey, we're down with you. Like,
yeah.
bad guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go. So Miles found out what's going on, and Apocalypse promised them a ship to get off the planet before he destroys it. Mm-hmm. So he's going to wake the Unmaker, take over his body, and destroy the entire planet and kill everyone. And then just go out in the world and just unmake everything. That's his plan.
Yeah.
So Tony is excited because he has Captain America's shield. He's like, when I was an alchemist, I didn't have any good heavy-duty stuff. Now I can work with the best. They're talking about how they're going to do it. And he's like, listen, I need a barrier. I need metal. I need a lot of strong metal. You don't happen to have a lot of adamantium around, do you? In Apocalypse's, I do. As a matter of fact, it's underneath us. Wolverine is just running around in these dark tunnels by himself. He goes, I know that smell, and he turns around. There's a portal. It's Apocalypse. He's holding Cyclops' head, and, Cyclops is chained up and a prisoner, basically.
Yeah.
He's with Kilgrave. He takes off his glasses. Kilgrave tells him to open his eyes and then says, let it go. So Cyclops just completely obliterates Wolverine down to a skeleton.
Yep.
Apocalypse gives Tony his skull. He has his body like floating in this electricity field.
Okay.
So Wolverine can't return because he's just constantly being damaged, basically.
Yeah.
So Wolverine's not coming back. So he gives them the metal, and Tony's like, yeah, I can do this. So Dr. Octopus is like, can we talk about, listen, I don't know if you go into the Unmaker, if you will have your powers. Like, you might have the Unmaker's powers, not yours.
Oh, okay.
You won't be able to teleport us off
they're
or
not
anything.
sure.
And he's like, the planet would break apart. And he's like, and the problem is?
Yeah.
And Octopus is like, well, it's the planet we're all standing on. Apocalypse rips him in half, bro.
Yeah, don't care.
Straight up lifts him up with his brain powers, rips him in half. I think Apocalypse would fuck Thanos' world up, bro. I don't know, but I really think
he's telepathic, telekinesis.
He's so
He
powerful.
can change the mass and density of his entire body.
Yeah.
He can create whatever weapons that he wants, even projectile
Thanos
weapons.
without the glove is just strong.
Super strong, dude.
I'm saying Apocalypse how
I
he
would
is.
say Apocalypse
Thanos.
too.
Yeah,
So like
right?
when I was a kid, I had the Insabanur prequels. So he was still a human at this point.
Right.
And it
Because
shows
he's the
him
first mutant, right?
Yeah, and then it shows him become the mutant, then it shows him become a slave, and then it shows him become revolting against the Egyptians.
Yeah. I've seen
Oh my
this
god,
comic.
I had 3 or 4.
Yeah,
it was like
I've
3 or
read
4
that.
issue. I had all of them. They were fucking amazing.
Yeah, I remember reading those. Those were
Insabanur.
sick. Maybe I
Yeah.
read them at your house
You
one
might
day.
have. I had them for a while.
Yeah, dude, I do remember those were badass. That's just a cool time period, like cool character to delve
And I
into.
read
That's
those
awesome.
in middle school, and we really wanted to talk to other kids about that shit. In middle
No one
school.
knew what the hell you're
Not
talking
at
about.
all.
The blue guy from the X-Men cartoon?
Boom,
Dude,
boom. He's
I
got like
had-
hammer hands.
I had a giant Apocalypse toy.
Yeah.
Like a good, I don't know, foot
Yeah.
maybe.
Really?
He was huge, super heavy. You could throw him through a wall and nothing, the wall would break. He was dope, bro.
I had the Age of Apocalypse figure. That was
Nice.
like just slightly
I had
bigger
little
than
ones,
a
too.
regular. And he came with like 4 different arms, basically. You could
Nice.
put different arms. But he had the cape. He had like the whole cape.
Oh,
going
that's
and
cool. I didn't
shit.
have a cape. It
Bro.
was just him by himself.
Yeah, cool,
It's like
'cause
that
it was
Thanos,
smaller.
the Thanos my son has.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
size
Okay,
Apocalypse. It's
Really?
awesome. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember Sentinels being. They had some.
Yeah,
big
they were some
Sentinels.
big Sentinels, yeah. So this cool part about Doom right here. So they're all on the Deadmobile heading to Paris, right?
Right.
So everyone's chatting. Everyone has their bus buddies. Now, Lafayette, Lunella, whatever, Moon Girl, she's talking to Dr. Doom.
And Devil Dinosaur, right?
Yeah,
Is that his name?
that's who she has, the Devil Dinosaur. And so her and Doom are chatting, and Doom, I just love this. We would have to be clinical. It would require precise timing in the midst of chaos, but it's a brutally effective idea, Lunella. And he tells her this could work. Most impressive. So everyone's like, look at them two getting together.
They clicked.
So they get into Paris, basically, and they say, May, Danny, you're staying with Miles and the dinosaur. Miles is hurt. The dinosaur's hurt. Y'all are kids. Please stay here.
Right.
So they say their goodbyes. They roll out, and they're like narrating. Peter Parker's narrating this, and Gabby says, "What's that?" They say it's Octavius. He's been torn in half. So he's more like 2 quarts of Avius. And Deadpool's like, I missed you. Like, him and Gabby get along really well. So when they said they enact their part of the plan, and they were like, it started with a storm. Now she just unleashes on the Louvre, just destroys it, right? So Apocalypse is like, let their friends out. So basically on the opposing side, being controlled by Kilgrave, we have Kilgrave, Beast, She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Captain America with this super, super dope black and white shield. It's so sick. And then
I've never seen that.
me neither, dude. It's awesome. Dracula, I guess Lady Deathstrike, Cyclops, and Psylocke.
Oh,
So
shit.
unleashes all of them on them. Look, big old fight. Doom is trying to talk to Dracula. He's like, dude,
Purple
snap
Man
out of it,
and
you
that
idiot.
bitch.
Yeah. The Purple Man, he's
She-Hulk versus Colossus.
he's
bro.
telling him kill them all. Dracula versus Doom. Spider-Man versus Captain America. Such a sick panel.
It
Definitely
is.
going up on the
Looks
YouTube
sick.
video. It's awesome. So out of nowhere, Kilgrave is yelling, kill them all, and he gets shot in the head.
Uh-huh.
And everyone's like, Wade. And he's like, what? And they're like, they were going to knock him unconscious. That was the plan. He's like, I didn't hear the plan. I was driving the bus.
Why would I care?
And he's like, did I rob like some catharsis from you? He's like, you can kick his corpse or something. Dude, I love it when Marvel does this. Insignificant. He barely been in the comic, but he literally saved the day. Fucking everyone's mind goes blank. They're not controlled by Kilgrave. That's what I meant. They're all gone. Everyone's on the same side. Tony, Riri,
Oh, shit.
Reed Richard, everyone.
Octopus, all the people that were.
Well, Apocalypse was ripped in half, but yes.
Oh, that's right.
He would have snapped out of it as
Yeah,
well.
if he had
And
been
Apocalypse
alive.
is like, oh shit, I guess Kilgrave's dead. And they're all like, Apocalypse, they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter, he's fallen. I'll do this all on my own. And he basically tries to kill them and nothing happens. So Sue, they're even narrating, and they said that's when Sue Storm was unleashed. She put a fucking barrier around the frontal lobe of his brain so he couldn't use his powers. So Nightcrawler bamps over there, takes off all his armor.
Nice.
So he's standing there basically shirtless.
That's alien armor too. That's like ultra future.
It's just so
alien
sick,
armor.
yeah. Dracula pops up behind Apocalypse, bites him. Now they're like, we got to render you powerless, and now we got to take your control away. So you're going to become a vampire. So he starts becoming a vampire under Dracula's control, and Blade just pops out of nowhere and slices both their fucking heads off.
Oh, because if he becomes a vampire, he's actually got more weaknesses than he did before.
That was their plan. That was their original plan. Yeah.
Okay.
So their plan was to take away his powers use and then take away his control of powers.
Physical shit. Oh shit.
And then Blade just popped up and was like, vampires.
Was genius.
Yep. The Blade was like, oh, vampires, cut both their head off.
I got that.
Dude, that's pretty much the end. Everyone's back together. They get Magneto. The Louvre is
out of
all
the fucking Faraday cage.
Yep. They just all kind of walk off in one big
into the sunset.
Group.
Literally the sunset.
Yeah, no.
Devil dinosaurs like taking up. That's the French Arch. What is it fucking called?
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, that's it. They kill them. The metals, they're dissipating, and
holy shit,
Magneto's safe.
Fucking Nightcrawler, pirate Nightcrawler's still there.
He's still there. I mean, everyone. Deadpool's still around.
Yeah, everyone that was
Cyclops,
there.
Captain America. They're all good now, and they're literally just walking off in the sunset. That's how it ends.
Go up to
which one?
Guy.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the Unmaker.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I did enjoy the art of this one. The faces, I'll do. The faces. They were great, actually. I mean,
as
look
far
at
as
that.
I saw, it was really good.
Yeah, it's very high quality.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, dude. No, look, it looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, that looks dope.
The art,
Marvel,
the faces,
Marvel for sure.
Very Marvel,
but well executed Marvel.
It's
Marvel,
fucking badass.
Yeah,
dude. This was such a fun read. This is going on
How
my
many issues was it?
6.
6. Okay.
This is going on my where do I start? Go
Where
read
do you
this.
Tell somebody to start.
Go read this. You don't have to. All you have to know is who they are for the most part.
Yeah.
They don't go
Little
deep in
bit
their
of
powers.
backstory.
Apocalypse doesn't unleash. There's not a big, huge, crazy fight.
Right.
It's straight up. I love the way I read online. Some of the reviews were like, I didn't like how they killed Apocalypse, and I was like, nah, that was dope.
That's how you would have to kill
Sue Storm. Those people together they.
You have to combine.
They destroy,
Yeah.
bro. They destroy, and
Yeah.
despite having Doctor Strange and all them dead,
Uh-huh.
you know, like
It's not really that
they're
big a
still
deal. It's
badasses.
fucking Marvel.
yeah, there's so many.
People.
There's so many. So I guess the Unmaker is just down there. The EMP's still going off. It can't move.
He reminds me of the Beyonder, but isn't the Beyonder DC?
No.
That is Marvel?
Yeah,
Beyonder?
that's
So
he's
he looks
Battle
like-
World
he
and
looks-
shit.
He looks like a monster technological version of the Beyonder.
So
Because he's white and black.
it's very much like I said, not Sentinel, Celestial Destroyer, God armor stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot that it probably draws from. But no, dude, overall super fun read. Like don't know shit before or after, just go read it. It was
awesome.
a super fun, violent, cool read.
I love when the big guys do that, where you don't have to read 15 other comics just to get an idea of what's going on.
And I went mainstream. And even though I went mainstream, I had a blast. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to
Hell yeah.
explain all this shit.
For 20 minutes before you start.
I think I went pretty brisk for it. And
no, that wasn't bad at all.
you didn't. Yeah, it was a fun ass story to read, dude.
Hell yeah.
Creeping on a come up.
Bang, bang, boom.
Bing bang boom. All right, so this is Matt versus Adam. It's where we take a random character generator and we see who will win in a fight between who I get and who he gets. We're doing video games today. The arena is downtown Houston. I'm getting coffee. He's getting food. We see each other, and it's fight on sight.
Fight on sight.
You want to go first?
No, you go first, always.
All right.
You got to lose for me, bro.
We've got him before.
Yeah. Switch it up.
Got him before.
You sure? You sure you're not
Yeah.
cheating?
No, I'm not cheating. All right, I got Earthworm Jim, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
I think he's pretty strong, video game feats and all.
Whew. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm probably like invincible.
You have your suit because you're actually just a worm, and that whole suit is a suit.
But I got it with me. Who'd you get?
Cloud from Final Fantasy.
Oh, he's strong as shit too.
Super strong.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking mine up because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know mine either. I couldn't tell you how strong he is. This is a good one.
Yeah, it really is. All right, let's see if it shows up on Wiki.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I did find it.
Dude,
You think you're strong?
mine starts funny and then ends just ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how we're going to quantify this.
Okay, yeah, it can be hard.
Yeah, cuz
Oh shit. Yeah, let's hear yours.
no, do yours first.
I'm going to do mine first then. All right. Power skills, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, swordsmanship, ability to use materia, which is like magic. Oh, and then it just says magic defense, superhuman durability, skilled sword techniques with lightning speed like Alma Slash. So that's just like one of his attacks. Superhuman reflexes, enhanced agility, willpower, hand-to-hand combat, high knowledge on battle tactics and strategies, high intelligence.
All right. I have plasma blaster proficiency, pocket rocket. I don't know what MFTL speed is. Universal destruction, immunity, and whiplashing. So, how do we?
That's only like 5 or 6 things, but some of those
2 of them are
Yeah.
absolutely devastating.
universal issues.
Universal destruction.
Yeah.
And immunity. I mean,
Immunity.
Immunity. You can't do anything. You can't, right? Immunity
Right.
is you can't hurt me.
So,
you
like,
can't-
I have the high knowledge on battle tactics and strategies, and high intelligence, which I would say is my best defense against your extreme powers, right?
I
Because
want
everything else is pretty normal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It seems like I'm gonna be fighting with a gun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shooting at you. You got a sword.
Uh-huh.
But when it gets to the crazy universal destruction, I know I have a little whip thing.
Yeah.
But what
That's
is-
your body.
what is-
That's what the whip
Yes,
thing is.
yes,
You
it is
use
my
your
head.
actual body for it.
You're right. So I don't know
Damn,
how
bro.
to...
I'd be down to flip a coin, honestly. Because, like, in some scenario... Or do you want to do percentage?
So I looked it up. This is I got another fandom here.
Yeah.
He relies on his super suit. Oh my god!
Yep.
It grants him superior strength, durability, and agility.
Because you're literally just a worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're
But I
they're
have
not.
magic.
Some of his abilities are not due to the suit itself. He's long, stretchy worm body. If he's separated from the suit, he still has access to various abilities as a regular earthworm. Oh, that a regular earthworm would not have,
Yeah.
such as coiling and jumping. But yeah, it doesn't specify like the universal destruction
So,
thing.
like
that,
I said, I have the ability to use materia and magic defense. So those are, I'd honestly say, are pretty much my strongest attributes.
Yeah,
besides the high battle tactics and strategies, which would really help with you because you're not like a universal like god or nothing.
No.
So me being smart and clever really could help. But I would genuinely be down to flip a coin because you're crazy too. I have way more stuff technically, like number wise, but besides the magic and materia and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could compete.
yeah, and then
I
we
don't know.
because we're going off of what we find,
Just-
not our previous knowledge of it.
No, I
just-
played it, or Dub played it when it came out.
I played
on
it too.
PlayStation,
Yeah.
original PlayStation or whatever it was, and I watched him play basically through the whole thing, and like he had some crazy feats, but I mean, you heard my list.
I know. So yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Just because I don't have any knowledge to actually pull from.
Yeah, let me see if I can find.
And I know I can't
More.
find no Earthworm Jim versus Cloud.
Yeah, oh hell no, that's not a thing.
That's not. I'm just trying to find if they like kind of touch on this crazy.
Yeah, that would help.
He was also a cartoon character.
So here's my hobbies. I'll just keep going. Collecting materia, taming chocobos, racing chocobos, Visiting Gold Saucer. I know what everything but besides visiting Gold Saucer means. I don't know what that is. Well, I beat Sephiroth, right? Which was the main bad guy for my
I don't know much
video
about
game.
Final Fantasy.
Sephiroth had
but-
like a one big wing. You would recognize him if you saw him.
No, I know who he is.
Yeah.
I just don't know if.
But yeah, he beat Sephiroth in this one.
Yeah, and see, I don't know any bad guys. I don't know.
Dude, I know your bad guys are way more chill than mine. That's the one thing where I'm like, because most
Yeah,
of
I'm
your bad
shooting them
guys
with
are
guns
like
and stuff.
are like fucking spiders with metal bodies.
Yeah.
and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's.
I would say my bad guys are more hardcore than yours overall.
Well, especially that universe too.
Just in
But
the
I
universe.
don't know anything about Final Fantasy, so I mean, what, a coin? Really? 'Cause
I
that's-
genuinely, if you want to do percentages first,
I don't know
just
because
guess. Okay, let me tell you what I would think.
because I mean I have immunity, so
Yeah.
you can't hurt me.
So if I had any more info on you, it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
So in my head, genuinely, I was thinking me 60, you 40.
maybe, but I'm immune.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
And
That's
that
my
universal destruction
My
keeps
guess.
making me go, what is that?
That's
probably, it's probably an instance in a game or a comic
guess.
book.
You push a button and it clears the screen.
Yeah,
is what it
something
is.
like that. Yeah, it's something.
It's your ultimate power or whatever. Yeah.
Right. It's not it has something to do with a storyline, possibly, not as something a character, not a thing he can do all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, all right, man. I'll just give it to you since we don't know. If you're hearing this,
Well, let's do
and
55-45.
That's
That way you're
I mean-
super close because I don't want to like be like, oh, I would destroy him.
Yeah, it's just
Do
the
55-45
it's-
and I won, but 55-45.
it's just the
Mark that.
it's just the lack of knowledge we have on this character.
Oh, he's a little manlet. He's only 5'8".
I didn't say how tall I was.
No, you're a worm, so you're like 3 inches tall.
Oh
bro.
yeah, see, I might be tiny.
I stomped you.
But
That's why I said
but-
55-45.
So universal destruction, though. If I can destroy the planet, you're dead.
So, like,
your characters aren't
the
that
little
strong.
bit I remember playing of Earthworm Jim, the universal destruction, I think, is just a screen clearing ultimate move, if I remember.
but
correctly.
universal.
It's just called that, is what I remember.
But I mean,
What I
Again,
remember.
we don't know
you
what it
could be
is.
completely right. He could get to the edge of a planet and be like, I'm going to use my universal destruction and wipe out the whole universe. I don't know.
yeah, maybe like lost his cool.
I
or
could kill a
went Super
continent.
Saiyan.
I could kill a continent maybe if at max. Or a
Right.
very huge city I could take out. Maybe you could take out the entire fucking universe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, a universal. That's
insane.
Yeah, it's not planetary. It's
Like
not
I
city.
said,
universal.
Basing on the little bit I remember of it, I think it's a screen clearing move. is
That
what it
sounds
is.
stupid. I think I
You
should
think?
win because you can't beat
Let's
them.
flip it then.
We're
I am
going,
100% down to flip
but we're
it.
going off of what we found, and you can't beat universal destruction. That's not planet. That's planets. That's
Yeah, yeah,
billions of planets, and that's
Whereas-
ridiculously
hold on.
strong. And immunity.
Yeah.
I just-
Superhuman durability, blah 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 blah. So I'd rather just flip it, bro. Honestly, like I said, and even when I was trying to do percentages, I think you were basically right there. I wasn't trying to say I was going to blow you out. That's definitely not what I would guess.
See, the thing that's making me say, like, yeah, you
I'm gonna
would
look.
win.
You did Wiki Heroes, right?
Yeah,
For
hold
Earthworm?
on. Doug says, respect Earthworm Jim. He is the strongest entity in the Marvel universe. Or he is the strongest entity in the universe, including every character from Marvel, DC, and Hello Kitty. The Psy-Crow was delivering a high-tech, superpowered spacesuit. The suit somehow accidentally fell out. It was upon him.
Yeah.
He has incredible strength, cognitive ability, dexterity. He can grab a chain with his... Okay, here we go. Strength. He can climb up rock croppings with his hands, swing from hooks, moves heavy boxes, jump long gaps. Okay, here we go. Fast enough to react to shoot meteors. He can survive on many alien planets and occasionally in the pure vacuum of
Yeah, he
space.
doesn't even use a helmet.
He got chomped on by some demons without too much damage taken. His ray gun can kill demons. He survived a bungee jump with the cord tied to his head. Without wearing his suit, he gets caught in a rotary fan with no harm done.
Yeah.
Gets mauled by this giant dog and comes out shaken, but basically okay. Throws himself into painful-looking machines and comes out perfectly fine.
That's why comedy and like cartoons and shit and video games are some of the hardest ones to try to describe.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I mean, so nothing in here, I mean... He said he could take everyone. It's kind of like the Plastic Man argument, it seems like. If I can go into fans and machines and not get hurt, how are you going to cut me?
I remember that window or whatever.
And I'm pretty sure if you get shot, you would die.
I'm mostly human, yeah.
If I'm killing demons with my ray gun.
You win, you 55, me 45.
I think so, brother.
Let's do it. I'm down.
I even wrote it down for you, but I'm like, nah, hold on. I got to fight this a little more.
Fine. No, that's fair.
Because the machine thing is what tripped. Okay, so if I can go into a fan and not die, you're going to cut me with a sword.
The suit, too. It's just you as a worm.
Yeah, are you just going to be swinging and just... You know, I mean, listen, we've always said we retroactively will change points. So if someone could hit us up and explain why Cloud would win or why Earthworm Jim would win.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah, we would love to hear it.
We don't know enough.
Yeah, this is not knowledgeable in these two characters for sure. But I will gladly take that win.
Yeah, I think I would like to say the percentages. You 55, me 40.
Oh, no, it's definitely close now that I'm thinking about it because it's not just your sword that you're worried about. There's probably sharpness, probably power, magic, exactly.
I have superhuman durability, blah, blah, blah. Super smart with fights, blah, blah, blah.
And we don't know what your magic is necessarily, right?
It's literally like magic from D&D. You're like shooting fucking lightning.
Okay, right. So there's something in there might be able to take care of me. Maybe I am immune to that shit.
I like the 45, 55.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that.
All right, so I'll take that.
What's the numbers now?
23-19.
Sure it's not 23-18?
No, I have 18 because I won last week.
Yeah, you did. And the week before, right?
No, you got 23 2 weeks ago.
Started pulling ahead.
And then it was 23-17, then 23-18, now 23-19.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So I'm catching up.
Yeah, you are
Catching up. I shouldn't be
this
far behind.
You are.
I tied it and couldn't get the lead on you.
Oh, of course not.
It's crazy. All right, so we are on Instagram at Flipping Pages 24. We are on Facebook at Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. New episodes release every Monday on all podcast platforms and YouTube. If you're the visual kind of learner and wants to see the stuff that we're talking about, it is on YouTube. So that should be out every Monday, hopefully, for your drive to work.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know, we got foreign listeners. Yeah, they might be...
They're listening to us at 11 at night.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm about to go to bed. I'm going to listen to these dudes.
Put these guys on.
Yeah.
So if you are listening, we appreciate it.
Yep.
And the best way to support us is rate, review, like, subscribe, all that stuff. You know, leave us likes on YouTube, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps out a
rate
lot.
On Spotify and review or whatever.
Yeah, on the podcast platform, it's rate, review, that stuff. It's a small little thing for you. It helps us out a lot.
Yes, it does.
So we appreciate it. And again, if you're just listening, we also appreciate that. So that's the episode, man. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.